these reigns, as is shown in the article chronology. The general unreliability of the Assyrian scribes and their practice of adjusting the different editions of the annals to suit the ruler's ego are also discussed there. During his reign, Sargon erected a new capital city about 20 kilometers 12 mi of Nineveh, near the present-day village of Khorsabad. On a virgin site he laid out the city called Dur-Sharrukin, what might be called a Sargonsburg, and built a 200-room royal palace on a raised platform that was 7.5 meters, 25 feet high, and that covered an area of nearly 10 hectares, 25 acres. Colossal human-headed, winged bulls guarded the palace entrance, one pair being about 5 meters, 16 feet high. The walls were adorned with frescoes as well as carved reliefs depicting his campaigns and feats. The total wall space occupied by these reliefs equaling an overall distance of about 2.5 kilometers 1.5 mi. In one of his inscriptions Sargon says, "For me, Sargon, who dwells in this palace, may he, that is, the god Ashur, decree as my destiny long life, health of body, joy of heart, brightness of soul." Ancient Iraq, p. 262. Yet the records indicate that a year or so after the palace inauguration Sargon was killed, the manner of his death not being certain. His son Sennacherib replaced him. Sarid, a city on the border of Zebulun. Jos 19. 10:12. It is identified with Tel Shaddad, some 10 kilometers 6 mi of Megiddo. Sasekheim Sas Middle-time, possibly, chief of the slaves. A Babylonian prince who was among the first to enter Jerusalem after the army broke through the walls in the summer of 607 BCE. 39. 2, 3. His position and duties are not stated, though Sasekheim may have been a title, and its meaning may indicate his work. Satan resistor. In many places in the Hebrew scriptures, the word Samiddle.an appears without the definite article. Used in this way, it applies in its first appearance to the angel that stood in the road to resist Balaam as he set out with the objective of cursing the Israelites. New 22. 22, 32. In other instances it refers to individuals as resistors of other men. 1 Sir 29. 4. 2 Sir 19. 21, 22. 1 Kai 5. 4. 11. 14, 23. 25. But it is used with the definite article ha to refer to Satan the devil, the chief adversary of God. Job 1. 6, ftn. 2. 1-7. Zek 3. 1, 2. In the Greek scriptures the word Middle-nas applies to Satan the devil in nearly all of its occurrences and is usually accompanied by the definite article ho. Origin. The scriptures indicate that the creature known as Satan did not always have that name. Rather, this descriptive name was given to him because of his taking a course of opposition and resistance to God. The name he had before this is not given. God is the only creator, and his activity is perfect, with no injustice or unrighteousness. 32. For therefore, the one becoming Satan was, when created, a perfect, righteous creature of God. He is a spirit person, for he appeared in heaven in the presence of God. Job chaps 1, 2. Re 12. 9. Jesus Christ said of him, that one was a manslayer when he began, and he did not stand fast in the truth, because truth is not in him. Job 8. 44. 1 Job 3. 8. Jesus here shows that Satan was once in the truth, but forsook it. Beginning with his first overt act in turning Adam and Eve away from God, he was a manslayer, for he thereby brought about the death of Adam and Eve. O textui acute miritra longo. Satan 867. The tempter Mount 4. 3. And a liar, the father of the lie. Job 8. 44. Re 12. 9. Issue of sovereignty raised. When Satan approached Eve through the speech of the serpent, he actually challenged the rightfulness and righteousness of Jehovah's sovereignty. He intimated that God was unrightfully withholding something from the woman. He also declared that God was a liar in saying that she would die if she ate the forbidden fruit. Additionally, Satan made her believe she would be free and independent of God, becoming like God. By this means this wicked spirit creature raised himself higher than God in Eve's eyes, and Satan became her God, even though Eve, at the time, apparently did not know the identity of the one misleading her. By his action he brought man and woman under his leadership and control, standing up as a rival god in opposition to Jehovah. GE 3. 1-7. The Bible, in lifting the veil to give a glimpse into heavenly affairs, reveals that Satan later as a rival god appeared before Jehovah in heaven, challenging Jehovah to his face, saying that he could turn God's servant Job, and by implication any servant of God, away from him. He charged God, in effect, with unrighteously giving Job everything, along with full protection, so that he, Satan, could not test Job and show what was really in his heart, which, Satan intimated, was bad. He implied that Job served God primarily for selfish considerations. Satan made this point of his argument clear when he said, "Skin in behalf of skin, and everything that a man has he will give in behalf of his soul. For a change, thrust out your hand, please, and touch as far as his bone and his flesh, and see whether he will not curse you to your very face." Job 1. 6-12. 2. 1-7. See sovereignty. In this special case, Jehovah allowed Satan to bring calamity upon Job by not interfering when Satan brought about a raid from severe marauders as well as destruction of flocks and shepherds by what Job's messenger called the very fire of God from the heavens. Whether this was lightning or other fire is not stated. Satan also brought a raid by 3 bands of Chaldeans, as well as a windstorm. These things caused the death of all of Job's children and destroyed his property. Finally, Satan inflicted loathsome disease upon Job himself. Job 1. 13-19. 2. 7, 8. These things reveal the might and power of the spirit creature Satan, as well as his vicious, murderous attitude. It is important to note, however, that Satan recognized his impotence in the face of God's express command, for he did not challenge God's power and authority when God restricted him from taking Job's life. Job 2. 6. Continued opposition to God. By his challenge of God and his charging God's servants with lack of integrity, Satan lived up to his title devil, meaning slanderer, which title he deserved for having slandered Jehovah God in the Garden of Eden. Joined by other wicked demons. Before the flood of Noah's day, it appears that other angels of God left their proper habitation in the heavens, as well as their assigned positions there. Materializing human bodies, they came to dwell on earth, marrying women and producing offspring called Nephilim. GE 6. 1-4. 1 PE 3. 19, 20. 2 PE 2. 4. Jude 6. See Nephilim. Sons of God. These angels, having left God's service, came under the control of Satan. Hence Satan is called the ruler of the demons. In one instance, when Jesus expelled demons from a man, the Pharisees accused him of doing so by the power of Beelzebub, the ruler of the demons. That they had reference to Satan is shown by Jesus' answer. If Satan expels Satan, he has become divided against himself. Mount 12. 22-27. The Apostle Paul associates Satan with the wicked spirit forces in the heavenly places, and he speaks of them as the world rulers of this darkness. F6. 11, 12 as a governing force in the invisible realm immediately about the Otextoi acute Muritra Longo, Satan 868 the Lion of David, and destroyed the temple of Jehovah, desolating Jerusalem and Judah. As 21. 25-27. As an instrument of Satan, the ruling dynasty of Babylon, initially headed by Nebuchadnezzar, held Israel in exile for 68 years, until Babylon's overthrow. Babylon had no intention of ever releasing its captives, and so reflected Satan's own boastful, ambitious attempts as a rival god opposed to the universal sovereign Jehovah. The Babylonian kings, worshipping their idol god Marduk, the goddess Ishtar, and a host of others, were actually worshippers of the demons and, as part of the world alienated from Jehovah, were under Satan's domination. PS 96. 5. 1 Co 10. 20. F2. 12. Col 1. 21. Satan filled the king of Babylon with the ambition to have complete domination over the earth, even over Jehovah's throne 1 Ch 29. 23 And the stars of God, the kings of the line of David sitting on the throne at Mount Moriah by extension, Zion. This king, that is, the dynasty of Babylon, lifted himself up in his own heart and was in his own eyes and in the eyes of his admirers a shining one, a son of the dawn. In some translations the Latin Vulgate term Lucifer is retained. It is, however, merely the translation of the Hebrew word Hemidal.lel, shining one. Hemidal.lel is not a name or a title but, rather, a term describing the boastful position taken by Babylon's dynasty of kings of the line of Nebuchadnezzar. Isra 14. 4-21 Since Babylon was a tool of Satan, its king reflected Satan's own ambitious desire. Again, Jehovah came to the salvation of his people by restoring them to their land, until the real seed of promise should come. As 1:6. Efforts to cause Jesus to stumble. Satan, no doubt identifying Jesus as the Son of God and the one who was prophesied to bruise him in the Hajj 3:15, did everything he could to destroy Jesus. But, when announcing the conception of Jesus to Mary, the angel Gabriel told her, "Holy Spirit will come upon you, and power of the Most High will overshadow you. For that reason also what is born will be called holy, God's Son." Luke 1:35 Jehovah safeguarded his Son. The efforts to destroy Jesus, when an infant, were unsuccessful. Mount 2:1-15 God continued to protect Jesus during his youth. After his baptism, Satan approached Jesus in the wilderness with 3 different strong temptations, thoroughly testing him on the issue of devotion to Jehovah. In one of his appeals Satan showed Jesus all the kingdoms of the world, claiming them to be his own. Jesus did not contradict this claim. Nonetheless, Jesus refused to contemplate even for the briefest instant of time any shortcut to kingship, nor did he consider for an instant the doing of anything merely to please himself. His immediate reply to Satan was, "Go away,